Good morning, Tarkov. How's everyone doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Tarkov, the morning show that we talk everything Tarkov, and it is going from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. every morning, as long as I don't get hit in the head with a hockey puck, or unless there's a patch or something. But this is on the YouTube channel, but it also goes up as a VOD on the YouTube channel. This is live on the YouTube channel, but it will also go up as a VOD and also on Spotify. So if you miss anything or if you have to leave midway through, you can show up later and it will be VOD on the YouTube channel. And then also in that VOD, in the description and the top comment, there will be some timestamps so that you can keep up with the discussion, so you don't have to listen to the entire thing to get to the juicy bits, or at least whatever you're actually most interested in listening to. And then also in that description will be the Spotify link too, so if you want to go listen on Spotify. But yeah, today's a bit of an interesting topic. Usually on these shows I talk about a very specific topic just to get everyone's brain moving, and then we do a bit of a Q&A and we discuss some things. But that's not before we actually get some people. We get some people in the chat. So how's everyone doing? As we're waiting for people to get in the chat, how we doing? David, how you doing? Staggy, how you doing? Sharper, good morning. Hector, how you doing? Yeah, I'm about halfway through my coffee. I've had my coffee this morning, but it was tough getting up this morning because I was up very late looking at Star Citizen stuff last night. I was up very late. I did not get much sleep because I got a little bit carried away with some Star Citizen stuff. For those of you guys that don't know, if you are into Star Citizen, that's a second channel thing. So I have this main Escape from Tarkov channel where everything's Escape from Tarkov. Maybe you'll hear a reference here and there, but you won't see a video or you won't see a live stream where I'm playing another game or talking about another game specifically. However, you will see a reference here and there to the second channel stuff. And the second channel is going to be a big time this weekend because we have the free fly starting tomorrow, but the Invictus event for Star Citizen is starting today. So yeah, more to come. You'll see a post, and I'm going to be talking about the Discord because the Discord is going to involve Escape from Tarkov stuff as well. So that video for the new Discord is going to go up today. We're soft launching the new Discord. We are soft launching the new Discord today. So we're going to hear more about that in a video specifically later. And no, I'm not going to link it just yet because there's going to be a special way that we link it because I want to soft launch it. I want to soft launch it for Star Citizen, and then we'll get into the Escape from Tarkov stuff. But yeah, I was looking at some Star Citizen stuff way too late last night. Will the game ever have good server and like a modern standard? For sure, but not necessarily in the test. It's in the test phase. There's a lot that goes into that, so that's probably not the best way for me to answer that. The best way for me to answer that probably would be that they are constantly working on what they think is a high enough priority for them to spend time on in a testing phase, if that makes sense. So their highest priority right now is not the absolute best networking, is not the absolute best server infrastructure, I would imagine, because there is a lot of things that are going to change that would affect that. So yeah, so in the testing environment where there is more to go, where there's a lot more to go, that's not necessarily their highest priority. I think their highest priority is getting in their massive game-changing features in so that we can properly test them. And then they would work on, all the polishing and all the extra stuff like that. But, that's not official from BSG. I would just imagine, dev process. That's probably what they're thinking. However, they would like the game. They would like their testing process to be playable and actually to be usable. So it is somewhat of a priority. I just don't think it's their highest priority. Not to mention, every time we get a patch, it does seem to do very well. So unless you're completely forgetting, or unless you haven't been around for a patch, test, or test 9, it does generally get very smooth around big patches, and we should be on the horizon of a big patch here in the next week or two. So let's see what happens with that. Morning, Mad. What up, Corner? Morning, Dragon. It's midday for me. Yeah, I understand how time works. I understand. I understand. It's not midday or it's not morning absolutely everywhere. But you can watch the VOD whenever you want. You can watch the VOD even tomorrow morning if you want. But the VOD is good morning. Hello, my guy. Good morning. Morning, Coot. Fleet Week is in like 2 hours. Yeah, Fleet Week is in 3 hours for me. Unless they're doing it at 11 Eastern. Is it going to be 11 Eastern? Yeah, it's soon. Very, very soon. What up, Tirish? Talkie. Yeah, we talked a little bit about Star System, but we're getting into Tarkov for sure. Don't you worry, man. We got something cool today. It's going to be a little bit more of a visual cast today, but I'll be talking a lot. Hey, Maxim. Za, if you have a random question, don't say you have a random question. Just ask the question. It makes it easier. But I will get to it. Tristan, you're going to want to check out my most recent video, man. Morning, Christopher. How you doing? Morning, Beefy Man. Morning, Getty. How do you separate early wipe, mid wipe, and late wipe? Is it just a general vibe, or are there signs when you are in a given phase of the wipe? It's a general vibe. I think a general vibe is probably the best way to describe that, because it's the community, right? So I'm sure they have data. I'm sure they have a way of tracking like what the average player level is, what the average player stash worth is. Like, those are easy stats to have in a spreadsheet somewhere. So if I had to guess, probably when, I guess we could do it in thirds, right? Because it can break them in third. So when under 1/3 of the community is, let's say, less than level, do we include flea market? Let's say that this is purely just from me too, by the way, and this is the first time that I'm thinking about something like this, so just bear with me for a second. I would say probably if less than 1/3 of the community is level 15 or higher, that's early game. And then between 15 and 30 is mid game. And then between 30 and 40 plus. So, or sorry, what would I do? So 15 to 30, and then 30 beyond would probably be late game. Yeah, I'd probably say 30 and then beyond would be like the late game. If less than that's a good question, actually. I'll have to write that out because I'm having difficulty doing this in my brain. No, but that works for the early game. So if I would say if less than 1/3 of the community is under level 15, is not level 15 yet, that's definitely early game. And then probably if 1/3 of the community, because we got to think in thirds here, we can't exactly think in halves because a lot of people will stop playing after a few raids, and then timing comes into an issue and stuff like that. So usually I break things into 1/3 when I'm looking at stats like that. So I would say if less than 1/3 is under level 15, that's early game. If 1/3 or more is above level 15, between like level 15 and 30, I would say that's probably about mid game. And then for the same thing, if like about 1/3 or more of the community is above level 30, then that's like late game. That's probably how I would define that. And we are absolutely beyond the late game right now. Absolutely beyond it. That late game showed up in the first month. This wipe. Easily the first month. Morning, Red. Morning, Grouchy. How you doing? Random question. When will you think the OTS 13 grows a bullpup? I have no idea because they haven't talked about it yet. So I don't know, Za. But it is planned. It's planned. It's 5 a.m. So yeah, exactly. All right, we got enough people here. Let's get to the topic today, eh, boys? Turn down the music just a little bit. So generally speaking, this actually isn't too much of a talking topic, but what I am going to do is I'm going to go through everything that I know about Streets as I'm looking around what I have currently for Streets. And then I'm sure you guys will have questions. So I'm going to try and do this the best that I can today. Just go ahead and start popping off questions, but it has to be around Streets. So if you have anything that you want to talk about around Streets, or if you see something interesting that you want to talk about Streets that I show up on screen, do @niceguy_Tarkov, like as if we were doing a normal chat Q&A, but have it be about Streets as I'm going through here, and it should make it a little bit easier, and I think the interaction is going to work pretty well. Because yesterday I went on a big topic, and it happens a lot where I go on a big topic, and then you guys keep asking questions, and you keep wanting to interact while I'm doing the topic thing. But I'm still trying to get my thoughts out with the topic thing. I'm not necessarily interacting with you guys. So let's do a bit of both here with the Streets stuff today. And you've seen the topic. You've seen that I'm thinking that Streets of Tarkov might break Tarkov, and that's from like an economy standpoint. That's from a interest standpoint. Also, there's a lot to go on with map-to-map travel and stuff like that. So there's a lot that's going to happen with Streets that might not be common knowledge. So we can break all that down, and we can talk about that today. Also, if you guys miss anything, or if you want to check it out later, I have a ton of videos on Streets, including where I have built a 3D Streets environment in Unreal Engine. Yes, I know Escape from Tarkov is in Unity Engine, but I know Unreal Engine, so I used Unreal Engine, and I still need to add the stuff from the second tease on there. But yeah, I pretty much walked around on Streets, and it is a very, very high chance that it is practically exactly the way that I set it up because of the screenshots and because of the info that we've gotten so far. The layout should be extremely similar. Scale isn't going to be there, but the layout should be very, very similar, and we'll get to that in a second. So, how would Streets break Tarkov? Well, we're going to get into it. I talked about it a little bit already, but we're going to get into that today. Do you think the first Streets vertical slice will have a boss? Absolutely. I think it absolutely will have that first boss. I want to hear more about the helicopter. We are going to get into that, Getty. Yes, we are. What will the max PMC limit be on Streets? So they want 40 PMCs. They want 40. They want 40 PMCs on Streets. Is there any confirmation? And if we end up getting a slice of Streets, that might change. But if we were to get the entirety of the planned Streets location, the entirety of the planned PMC limit is 40. So yeah, but they might break it up, so it might get less than that if they end up breaking it up. Is there any confirmation on how many players there will be? Yeah, 40. If the entire map comes out together, it'll be 40. How many maps are supposed to be linked to Streets? All of them. We'll talk about that in a second. Well, it's actually a good question. Probably not all of them. At least suburbs and maybe interchange. Good question, actually. Hold on. Let me get that map up. EFT wiki. Beep 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 beep. Map. So labs will absolutely be. That's obviously, I should have said that first. Labs will be linked to Streets. So in a way, factory will be linked to Streets. So suburbs will definitely be linked to Streets, and interchange in some way may be linked to Streets. Those are the maps right now over here. All right, we'll do that. All right, if we come over here, boop, 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 boop. Do something like this. I wish it was set up like that so I could show. All right. Put the chat up. All right, and then we go over here. All right, you guys should see that now. All right, so for those who don't know, Streets. Streets is done. They finished Streets, and this is sort of what it looked like. So years ago, they started working on Streets of Tarkov as like the prime location of Escape from Tarkov years ago. So I don't actually remember the specific year that this ended up popping up, but it was something like 2015, 2016-ish that this picture popped up. And obviously you can tell what skyscrapers those are in the background. Obviously you can tell this was early Escape from Tarkov. They did it. They apparently, according to them, they finished Escape from Tarkov, but it sucked. The frames sucked. The desync sucked. It was just not a playable. It wasn't an enjoyable location to play. So they scrapped it and they restarted. So if you guys are wondering whether or not they're gonna actually let us play an unfinished product, I think that probably answers our question. If they were going as far as creating an entire city location and then scrapping all of their work and starting from scratch, just so that it was actually, well, not just because it's very important, but so that it was a good location, so that it was a playable location. And in terms of Tarkov lore, it's been talked about for several full games now. Why can't I click? What's going on? Okay, I'll do this, I guess. To be able to click. For several games now, they've known about the Streets of Tarkov location, and then they've been planning lore around the Streets of Tarkov location. So this is from Contract Wars, and they are on Streets of Tarkov. So Terror Group, the aka the bad guys of Tarkov, of Escape from Tarkov, are housed, like their prime location is Streets of Tarkov. So that's why it goes into labs, because that's their lab. That is Terror Group Labs. So for years, for many more years, because of the earlier games that they ended up making, like Contract Wars and whatnot, they've known that Streets of Tarkov is going to be a significant location, and it's going to be very important to the game Escape from Tarkov. Or sorry, when they started creating Escape from Tarkov, they knew Streets was going to be a very important location because of how it's linked to Terror Group and how important Terror Group is to the lore of the game and whatnot. And also, for anyone wondering, USEC is another, so they're like supposed to be like the quote-unquote bad guys because they work with Terror Group. Terror Group hired them for like a private security firm and stuff like that. So they are supposed to be the quote-unquote bad guys because they work with Terror Group and they protect the Terror Group guys when they're not soldering them for some apparent reason, like in the Raid series. But yeah, or at least they're scientists. Another part of who's supposed to be housed in Streets, good old Therapist. So she is supposed to be the in-raid trader, according to the wiki and according to somewhere in the lore. If Therapist ends up being an in-raid low sound. Low sound. Is that just you that's saying that? Can someone confirm that? Luca, you seem to be the only person that's saying that. I think maybe Ethan agrees with you. Can you guys hear me all right? It's kind of low. It's kind of low. What's going on with that? All right, I'm just going to hit it a smidge. Just a smidge. All right. I increased it a smidge. It should be able to pick up more. Hopefully that doesn't break anything, because I'm seeing a lot of you're kind of low, it sounds fine, all that kind of stuff. So I boosted it a smidge. All right. So Therapist is also supposed to be homed. Supposed to be, her home is supposed to be Streets of Tarkov if she becomes an in-raid trader. It's not confirmed whether or not she will be an in-raid trader as of right now, but there was a point in the past where the plan for Escape from Tarkov was having all in-raid traders. That was a plan in the past. It theoretically isn't now. It's just not confirmed. So the speculation here is that if Therapist ends up being an in-raid trader, she's going to be on Streets of Tarkov. That's the current theory with it. That's like the setup. Because in some way, shape, or form, she's associated with Terror Group, and Terror Group is Streets. All right, another thing to talk about. What would be something that you find a lot on the Streets location? Because it's such an urban area and a lot of people live there. Vehicles. So this has been popping around for quite a while. We thought that it was something on, it was going to be something involved with reserve, but I don't think so anymore. I think what this is going to be is something at one of the GRU or one of the, and if anyone that doesn't know, this is a BRDM vehicle, Russian vehicle. I forget what we call these. Jack, are you in chat? I forget what we call these, but I think these are 23 mils. I think these are 23 millimeters. I forget what you call these. It's like a Zish or something. It's a dual 23 millimeter cannon. Not like an MRAP because it just is. It has like basic armor. I also think it's amphibious. DSKT or ZSU. Yeah, ZSU. It's a ZSU cannon. So I think they're 23 millimeters. It looks like Kevin agrees with me there. These will not be moving around. So don't get it, twisted right now. These shouldn't. Actually, I probably should say shouldn't. These shouldn't be moving around. But what they will be doing, I think, as a speculation, is guarding something. Just like what we get with the blown up tanks and stuff like that. My theory is that this is going to be guarding something around one of either the Russian regulars or the GRU. And I think what's going to happen is this either, when launchers are in the game, needs to be something that you need to take out with a launcher if it starts to be a problem, or it won't be in the game. Because here's the thing with it. This is like, usually what you would see is these are like mounted on the ground or in the open, and then there's a seat right here and someone's sitting here to operate it. I don't see a seat there, so I think that this is electronically operated. So there's just no way in hell, unless maybe you get through with some like armor-piercing Lapua into these windows or something, that you're able to kill the operator of this machine unless you have a launcher. So unless they end up doing something with the launcher, I don't think that this is popping up into the game, but I did want to share it with you guys because it has popped up. So it's been here for a long time. We've seen something like this. We thought it was going to be on reserve. It's not on reserve. There's things that are similar to it on reserve, but this specifically isn't. You can't find this on reserve. So given this armor package on it, I think that this is made for like an urban environment. It's supposed to be something with an urban environment, and I think it might pop up as something that's guarding a checkpoint of some kind. Oh, that's Therapist again. So we'll see what ends up happening. I don't think that this is going to come into the game as a mobile object. I highly doubt this is going to be driving around. And also something that I highly doubt is that it's going to even be in the game unless we have our launchers to be able to do something against it. But it's a thing, and I wanted to mention it. All right. So with Kavalda and with the new factory location, we are seeing that there are now weapons that they will not allow us to pick up that are specific to the scav bosses. One of the things that have been mentioned in the past about a unique item that would be with the scav boss that we wouldn't be able to pick up is this riot shield. And given that it's an urban environment and SWAT teams are obviously needed a lot in urban environments for like whatever it might be, people just being, assholes, people are making a disturbance and all that kind of stuff. Riot shields are obviously very good for SWAT teams and for urban and close quarters environments. So if I had to guess, one of the street's bosses, if I had to guess, and we're going off very little information right now, we haven't really heard anything confirmed. You know what? Let's do that actually. The only thing that we have heard from Nikita or from BSG specifically is that this is going to be a thing for a scav boss, and it is likely not going to be able to be picked up by us. That is it. That is the only thing that we have heard about this riot shield here. We think that that's a light on the front of it, and that's it. So we know that it's probably going to be at least level 4. It's gonna take some damage. It's gonna take a few hits. We'll see what happens with the glass specifically, and obviously whoever is operating it can't have like a two-handed weapon because they have the riot shield with them. At least they can't use the riot shield effectively with a two-handed weapon, so they will have some kind of either a one-handed submachine gun or a pistol or something, whoever ends up using this. And that's it. That's all the clear information that we have. So past that, I think that one of the scav bosses that we find on streets is going to have this riot shield, so I just wanted to mention it. I think that maybe there's some guy that he either ambushed a SWAT officer, or maybe he was a SWAT officer and maybe he's got some SWAT officers with him or something like that. I think it fits. I think it makes sense that that's one of the bosses on the streets location. But, it could end up on suburbs, it could end up on town, it could end up really anywhere with an urban location. Could end up literally anywhere really. But I just wanted to mention it. I think it makes sense for it to be in an urban location that has to do with SWAT or something like that would use these shields on a regular basis. So that's why I wanted to mention it. Now, obviously, the first boss coming to Streets is the RPD guy, which if we come down... Oh, did I not save that? I guess I didn't save that. Oops. Well, there is some screenshots and there is some work in progress of a Scorpion backpack. So if you guys know what I'm talking about, it's a backpack that holds rounds, extra ammunition that feeds into a belt-fed light machine gun. And methinks that might pop up with our boy on Streets, although I haven't seen it working with an RPD. I've seen it working with a PKP Pechneg and a RPK, which are 7.62x54R, aka the Mosin round, and the SVD round. But and we also haven't seen any work in progress for those, but we have seen the RPD, and Nikita has said in the past that the guy on Streets is going to have the first guy boss on Streets is going to have the RPD. So we'll see if that ends up being a thing. Boop boop boop. I gotta take a sip of coffee here, guys, before I lose my voice. So Ann just made a really good point here. The cannons for the BRDM, yes, they can be used for anti-air, but they are very regularly used for like anti-personnel, and they're used as a ground-to-ground weapon, a conventional weapon, whatever you want to call it. And I'm glad that you said something about a heli extract, because we have stuff like this that have popped up. So, this is some work in progress that we've seen quite a while ago with Streets of Tarkov. And that's the MI6? MI26? What is it? MI26 helicopter? Yeah, MI26. That's the MI26 that we see on the ground on reserve. That's a fucking huge helicopter, so they might be using that for scale, like a reference of scale, but also we have these little cars down here as a reference for scale as well. But if we go over to our Q&A with Nikita that I had recently, and we pop that open, make that a little bit bigger there. So question number 8 is where I talked about maps and Streets of Tarkov specifically. So if you guys missed that, that's going to be my second to last most recent video is my Q&A with Nikita. And this is topic number 8 of that Q&A. We are insanely excited about new locations and, of course, Streets of Tarkov. So if there's any new details that you can give us regarding its progress, we'd love to hear about it. Excuse me. If not, we're also curious about any plans for other locations, Lighthouse, Suburbs, Town, Terminal, expansions like Factory, or map-to-map travel like trains, if you'd like to share any details. Nikita mentioned that, or Nikita then said, right now, most of the art team are working on the Streets of Tarkov location, which I'll add into this, that they have been working on the Streets of Tarkov location for a very long time. And that's been his answer about Streets of Tarkov for, I want to say over a year now, that's been his answer for Streets of Tarkov. So there's been a lot of work into Streets. And we're doing well with this. We've boosted the speed of its production, and we are working and finalizing some of the key elements of the location and slowly getting ready for the optimization process. So it's close. It's a huge undertaking, and it already contains a lot of challenges. For example, how to properly optimize it and how to make it able to run with, whoever was asking this earlier, here you are again, literally from Nikita himself, 40 players in this location at the same time. Not just PMC players either. There will be even more scavs on this location. We also need to properly optimize it in a graphical way so the FPS is acceptable, and of course the networking works also well. We are also actively making the Lighthouse location, so he talked about Lighthouse, and then he talked about Lighthouse is going to be before Streets, but we're talking about Streets today, so this is why we're trying to mess around with this a little bit. Talk about Factory, and then later he talked about Streets of Tarkov will contain unique extracts. Again, this is from Nikita himself. Streets of Tarkov will contain unique extracts and unique gameplay features, unique and special to this location. So in a way, it's like a new gaming experience. The idea is just to implement this location with all of the features and stuff and bosses to feel like it's something new in Escape from Tarkov. And trust me, it's going to feel a lot more than just... It's going to be a lot more than just feel. It's going to be crazy. And this right here is why I titled this cast today about that. I think that this is going to be nuts. I think that this is going to be, in terms of people wanting to play Streets of Tarkov, people needing to play Streets of Tarkov, and the features and the unique things that are going to happen on Streets of Tarkov. Like, why would you play any other map? Unless you have to for a task, why would you play any other map? Honestly, it's going to be crazy. So that's why I wanted to talk about today. That's why I wanted to talk about that today, and I wanted to get your thoughts on that today. But before we go into that, the straight up Q&A here, I did want to talk about what would be those unique features. What would be those unique extracts? We've already talked about the bosses with the unique ride shield. We already talked about the vehicle there with the ZSU on top of it. Another part of that would be just the sheer amount of things to do. So theoretically, all of these rooms are accessible. Are all of them going to be accessible? Of course not. Not all of them. But any building that has multiple floors has multiple opportunities as long as you have an access way to get up there. I'm sure there'll be, scattered rooms, if not in all of these buildings, in most of them. And I'm sure there'll also be some kind of, at least, bottom floor that we can access in some way, shape, or form. At least. And the reason why I say that is because we see stuff like this. We see stuff like this. Let me open this up a little bit more. So this is some work in progress shots of how they're able to bang out rooms so quickly on streets. So there's these. So basically, as long as they have the same layout for all of these buildings, there's a quick way that they can just fill it with stuff and then move on to the next thing. So this would be like one apartment of one of these buildings here. And then we come over here. Same kind of thing with the staircase. Same exact staircase from different buildings, but you get a different feel. This one obviously has been through some shit. There was some kind of battle or something, or got hit by some kind of artillery shell or something. This one was just kind of old and decrepit and, it wasn't being taken care of very well. And then we got the newer one. Same exact staircase, same wall, same layout, same everything, except you change a couple things and it makes it seem different. You change a few things and it makes it actually feel and seem different. That's what they're talking about, to be able to bang out these locations as quickly as possible. Where was the other one I wanted to show? Was it this one? And here's another idea with that. How it's the same. It is the same room. It's the same kind of doorway. It's the same kind of layout. But you just add things here and there to make it feel different. And then eventually you end up with a cityscape like this, where all of these rooms, theoretically, see how you can see a wall, see how you can see a floor, and see how you can see these rooms? What do these rooms look like to you guys? What do those look like to you guys? Look at that layout and how it's segmented like that. So theoretically, all of these could have stuff in it. All of that, all of this, all of this, all of this, all of this. All of it. Is all of it going to be open? Of course not. They're going to have stuff that is locked off. But I'm talking about, in theory, they have the ability. They have the ability to have every single one of these accessible and have loot in them if they wanted to. Then when we look at buildings in the back like this, at least, unless they haven't gotten to it yet, that's when we start hitting things that we can't get into. So maybe there's a ground floor or something. Maybe there's something that you can get up to the roof on that one. But because I'm not seeing windows and because I'm not seeing the same layout that we would see with buildings like this, like these, and like these, I'm not thinking that that's going to be as accessible as something like this. But that's what I'm talking about. And this is just one part, too. This is just one part. And if you guys are curious, this is the area that we had the first tease. So this is the first tease over here on this street, and then we came under an arch over here, and then we went into this building. And then on the second tees, we came up around the corner, and then we went down this street. So that's the car dealership right there, from the second tees. And then over here, if we come down the street comes down like at an angle-ish over here. And then we come down this street. Sorry, wrong one. This street. So if we were to come down an angle over here, like kind of where my mouse is going right here, we would end up over here somewhere. And then you come down this street down here. And then you come down eventually to over in this area. So all of these buildings can theoretically have rooms in them. At least this one over here for sure. Maybe not this building, but this building maybe. You guys can see what I'm talking about, right? This building maybe. This building maybe. Not this building, just for how we're looking at it. But yeah, maybe these are more like a roof building, or they haven't gotten to it yet. This one has some rooms in it, so maybe this building. So it kind of takes a unique kind of eye to look at it. And again, maybe they haven't gotten to it yet, but you can tell what buildings are like a husk, what buildings are there for show, and what buildings can theoretically have something inside of them, which would be something like this building, something like that building right there, and then as we said before, this building over here. And then this would just be a husk, this would just be an outside, or again, maybe they haven't gotten to it yet. So hopefully you guys are kind of understanding what I mean by just the sheer amount, like the sheer possibilities of just getting lost on streets, and just everything to be done and everything to be found on the location. And according to Nikita, it's going to be like a unique experience. And it's kind of like my ideal location, too. I really like how it's got those open areas as well as the urban environments. Of course, it's an urban environment. The best way to explain it would be that urban environment. So, it's going to be really cool. Why would streets break Tarkov? That's what we're getting into, It's Your Boy. So, I already explained the thought process a little bit with it. And I've been going into detail with that. So, if you missed anything, the VOD's going to be good. But what I'm saying is that why would you play any other location? That's why I'm thinking that's why I'm thinking it's going to quote unquote break Escape from Tarkov. Because why would you do anything else? It's going to have so much cool shit and just so much to do and so much to explore. And just like, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing either. And of course you're going to play other locations. But with the amount of things that are going to be going on with it, with the amount of people that's going to be on it, and the experiences that you can have on a location like this, I don't see myself playing other maps. Like I feel like this is going to be my map. But that's just me, and that's why I'm saying like I wanted to interact with you guys. And when it comes to features, this be one of them. So Nikita has talked in the past about, for some reason or another, Tarkov, the Norvinsk region is no longer a no-fly zone. Anyone know what these are? While I take a sip of coffee. I'm gonna take another sip while I wait. What do you think those guys are? Those would be care packages. You can call them care packages. You can call them airdrops. And it has been actually fully confirmed from Nikita himself that these are going to be a thing. I don't know if they're going to be from... No, it's not going to be microtransactions, guys. No. It's going to be an actual event. It's going to be an actual in-game thing. It's not going to be like loot boxes. It's not going to be that. Escape from Tarkov will never have microtransactions, guys. That's one of the core beliefs of Nikita and of the team and everything. You'll never have anything like that. But what you will have, apparently, now, are dynamic, unique events where these will pop up. So if you've played really anything, and I think probably the best way for me to compare, or the best thing for me to compare this to is Rust. So if you guys have ever seen or played Rust, the airdrops in Rust, it's going to work very similar to that. If I had to guess, that's gonna be how it works. But where I don't have to guess is what Nikita has said in the past, and that Nikita has said that there will be 3 of these. There will be a static one that you will never see drop, but they will just kind of be there at different locations. So you can just walk up and find these boxes just around. Is it going to be specifically on the Streets of Tarkov location? No, I don't think it'll be unique to the Streets of Tarkov location. I'm sure you're going to find it other places, but I can practically guarantee that Streets is going to be one of the first, if not the first, then the only location. If there is going to be one prime location that you're going to find these airdrops, it's going to be the Streets location, if that makes sense to you guys. So he said static, where you won't hear anything, you won't see anything, you'll just walk up and then it's already deflated, like the parachute isn't moving or whatever, it's just on the ground and it dropped some time ago. So static. There will be the active, where you will actually hear a plane or a helicopter, because the Mi-26 could easily drop these out. They could easily drop these out the back of the Mi-26 because it's fucking huge. It's a huge helicopter. So the Mi-26 could easily drop these out the back, and then you go and you see what's going on, and you see if you can go and get underneath it and actually get it when it lands, and then it's a big fight over that. You know, the usual airdrop thing. You know it's going to land, so you fight over it, that kind of a thing. And I'm blanking on the third, to be honest. What would be the third? I am blanking on the third. I think the third was a... it was static, but it's not always in the same place. I think that was the third one. I forgot to take a note about it. So there's definitely going to be the static ones that are in the same places. There's going to be the ones that get dropped by the planes or the helicopters. And then I think the third one is they're the static, like they're already on the ground, but they're not always in the same place. I think those are the three. But I know for a fact Nikita said the first two. I'm not very certain with the third one. I think that's what the third one is, where it is static. You don't hear the helicopter. You don't see it drop or anything. But it is there. It's just not always in the same place. I think that's the third one. And then other than that, of course, we do have you hear it, you see it, get dropped, and you fight over it. And then the static ones where everyone will run to it like it's a loot spot kind of thing. So yeah, when it comes to unique features, we've got that. Like I said, we talked about the vehicles. Those vehicles, I can practically guarantee that, you know what, I will guarantee. Those vehicles are not going to be moving around. It's just not in the cards right now. It's just not. So I don't think those vehicles are going to be moving around, and we don't have anything to fight them with. So once we get the launchers in the game, which might actually be soon, maybe we'll start seeing those be a little bit more active at checkpoints and stuff. If you guys weren't here for that discussion, this is what I'm talking about. I guarantee that these will not be driving around, but I think they are going to be guarding specific locations, and I don't think that they would be in the game unless we have a way to get rid of them. So once you see the launchers come in, then maybe we see something like this pop up where they're actually using the ZSU and stuff like that. So unique features, we've got, I think we're going to see something like this. I know we're going to see something like this. And I think we're going to see something like this on one of the scav bosses. And what's going to be really cool, like I've been mentioning a couple times now, is just the sheer amount of things to explore and do. And this is just one part, guys. This is just one part. Look at all these fucking rooms. And since we saw it on the other teas, this is actually a full building like these as well. This might be, maybe it's a, sorry, scratch that. This very well could be a husk building. Like it's not actually, doesn't have actual indoors, but maybe there's something that you can get on the roof or something. I don't know. But this is actual building. This isn't like a monument or something, but this is an apartment building according to the first teas that we got. And then obviously these are all apartment buildings over here. We got, this is the construction building from teas 2. If we come over here, that is this building here. This big building here is this big building. And this is the car dealership from teas 2. That's the car dealership right there. And then, like I said before, if we come down, there's a street that comes down like this over here. And that's what brings us over to here. So we have this long. So if I came down this street back here, where can you see and where can't you see? You come down this street back here, you can see this. Street down here, you would eventually pop up over here somewhere. And then you have this big long street here, right here. So tons of buildings. You can see buildings on the... Sorry. I think this might be Cavalda. This might have something to do with Cavalda. This vest here. Where'd that go? Notice how there's buildings back behind here as well. So you can come down this street. And it would be back down this street right here. This is the same street we were just looking at right here. Right here. Still plenty of buildings. Still more to look at. Still more to do on both sides. Even more buildings on this side back here. Still the same street. We were just right about here on that last shot there. Coming down this street. And then we come back over here. And that's the same street right here. And all these buildings. Notice how there's even more back here. So, again, why do I think Streets of Tarkov is going to break Escape from Tarkov is why would you play anything else? Why would you do? I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I'm going to play any other location for multiple wipes once this is in the game. Honestly, like, let's discuss it. Why would you play any other location? Because this is insane. It's absolutely nuts, and that's why I'm so hyped about it. Oh, also extracts. I think there's probably going to be a heli extract, if you had to ask me. No confirmation. This is all speculation. But given that there's airdrops and stuff, if you had to ask, or if you had to know, whatever, I think that there's going to be a heli extract on Streets, but we'll see what happens with that. Maybe it's not an Mi-26 because that's such a fucking huge helicopter. Maybe it'll be like an Mi-8. Maybe it'll be like an Mi-8 or something. But yeah. And as we're doing that, this concept art over here does such a good job of like just portraying the vibe of like what we're gonna feel. I can't fucking wait, man. I just can't fucking wait. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. So yeah, that is why I think Streets of Tarkov is gonna break Escape from Tarkov. Let me hear what you guys think. Let's head back over here. Let me know what you guys think. Let's go into the chat Q&A. And if you guys want to refer to anything, please be very specific, and I will pull back up any of the shots that we were just looking at or anything that you guys might want to talk about, because that's what we're here to do. Discuss some things. So let's turn the music up a little bit. As usual, guys, make sure you're using @NiceGuySpaceTarkov like what Delta Force just did, there, what Fed, and what Jakey just did there. And we'll get to it. We will get to it. Alrighty. Play other maps because they would be empty, so easy loot. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point, Delta. That's a good point. To exit camp D2. Okay, yeah, reserve. Okay. Yeah, but quests taking the other map. Yes, so other than quests. But, like, if you just were someone that didn't care about, like, right now, at this point in Escape from Tarkov, I couldn't care less. I don't even have Kappa, guys. I never got Kappa this wipe. I don't care. I just play the way that I want to play, and me having 3 extra boxes, yes, I understand it allows for a 1x4, but me having that extra space in a secure container isn't as important as me just enjoying my time in game, and I sure as shit am going to enjoy a shit ton of my time on Streets of Tarkov. Also, I have a work in progress update for our background. If you guys want to see, do you guys want to see the work in progress update for our background? One's in chat if you guys want to see the work in progress update for what's going to be in the background behind us here. And we'll put the slideshow up in the meantime. Just imagine the angles you can get with vertical. Dude, I'm going to love sniping. I am going to love sniping. All right, real quick. I'll pop it up real quick. This is in Unreal Engine. It's going to be animated. So what we're seeing right now, without the slideshow, this. So my buddy, who is a actual professional career environment artist for a AAA studio, for a AAA gaming studio, is building this for me, and I'm completely beside myself at why he's doing it or how he's found the time to do this. But this is work in progress. I'm just fucking beyond excited. It's gonna be so cool, so fucking cool. But there's a little bit of work in progress for you guys. Anyway, I'm gonna get all my boys in a random apartment in a random building and just sit there for an hour, occasionally eating or looking out the window. Dude, it's gonna be, yeah, exactly. You could do shit like that. Like, why would you do anything else? Why? It's gonna be just, I can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm level 57 and no Kappa either. Shooter born in heaven and pain in the ass with my mobile connection. Oh yeah, I would imagine so, gentlemen. Yeah. Before I don't want to miss anyone else up here. Maxim, I agree with you, but daily quests and other things are going to balance it. No, for sure. So I was talking a little bit. I guess I was talking a bit too much here. Of course, there's going to be quests. Of course, there's going to be reasons to go to play other maps. But if you don't give a shit about the other quests, why would you play? Like, if you genuinely don't give a shit about progression or doing any of the other quests or doing anything else, why would you play any other location? That's why. So totally, yes. That is a like a gotcha moment. Like, no, it is not going to break Escape from Tarkov, because if you want to progress, you would go to other maps. Yes, you would need to go to do other things on other locations. Sure, you are completely correct, and that's why it's not going to break Escape from Tarkov. But at the same time, tell me I'm wrong. Like, if you don't give a shit, about any of the progression, if you don't give a shit about, like, of playing of doing the tasks and stuff, why would you do any other location? Come on. Summon Game Trader when you have to travel to other maps. No, for sure. There's gonna be things like that that'll pop up. Have we heard anything recent about Russia 2028? No. Don't expect anything about Russia 2028 until after Escape from Tarkov at this point. I think they've said everything that they need to say with it, and right now they need to stay focused with Escape from Tarkov. I was just looking at Car, and what do you think of the RPG cage? Do you think so? The reason why it would have that RPG cage is because obviously they would be worried about getting hit with RPGs. My understanding is that most of the time vehicles that are commonly in urban environments use those cages. I could be wrong. If you guys think I am blatantly wrong about that, please let me know. But that's why I added it in. I have the understanding, or it is my understanding, that if they have a cage like that, they expect to be in an urban environment. Guys, if you need to know about the wipe, check out my most recent video. Unless they just tweeted. Did they just tweet? They did just tweet. What's this? No, they're just retweet. They're talking about Jesse. They're talking about Jesse, and they're talking about other people. That's fine. Nothing new. No news. Nothing to worry about. Same information. Same information with the wipe, guys. Same information. So go check out my 12.11. Go check out my most recent videos there, guys. You'll get all the info that you need. Perhaps entrance to the map will be somewhat contained, like you will need to play actual lots of money to pay. I don't think so, because it's such a big map. It's such a central location. I doubt it. Now, if we're talking about getting into labs, then yeah, we're talking about, yeah, you need to do something there. Just go move into an apartment. Yeah, exactly. Just claim an apartment. I missed the part about shields. Can you give a 30-second recap? Yeah, it's supposed to be a scav boss item. Here's a quick recap for you. As we're seeing with Cavalda, we're starting to see items that are scav boss specific that we can't pick up, like with Cavalda's sledgehammer. This riot shield is supposed to be the same kind of thing. It's supposed to be for a scav boss that and I think we don't know what location it's going to be on, but we do know that obviously it's a riot shield, and that it is going to be for a scav boss, and we are not going to be able to pick it up. So, like Cavalda's sledgehammer, this riot shield is going to be on a scav boss that we won't be able to interact with. We're not going to be able to take this riot shield from that scav boss. And it is my theory that it's going to have something to do with SWAT. And since SWAT is heavily used in urban environments, and you're going to need a shield for those close quarters, little CQB stuff, like with SWAT, it's my theory that I think it would be found on streets. So I think it makes sense to have that scav boss that would have this riot shield on streets. Not riot shield, this would be like a ballistic shield. It's my theory that you would find this on streets. That's the only reason why I'm talking about it. But we don't have any confirmation of that. There's your recap on the ballistic shield there. When/if rocket projectiles are implemented, it's not an if, they're coming. They are actually, a couple of them are done actually. Properly ventilate a 5-man on streets below, for sure. Yeah, you're gonna be able to utterly destroy people, for sure. The balance will come with how you access those weapons. Those are coming. Explosives are coming. Mines are coming. Launchers are coming. The RPG 26 is literally artwork already in the game, guys. You can go and look at it yourself. Like, it's got, well, the icon for it. The icon for launchers with the RPG 26. It's all in the game. All still planned on coming. Nothing's changing with that, so get ready for that. Sorry if this is off topic, but what do you think spawn killing will be a problem in open world? I highly doubt it will be. I highly doubt it will be. Right now, it's sort of. I understand that it is a problem, but if you know how to go at it the right way, which I think I have a couple videos talking about how to not get spawn killed, or at least have to have your best chances of not getting killed in a spawn. I think I have a couple videos talking about that already. Theoretically, it's not necessarily really a problem right now. And if anything, open world is going to completely eliminate that. Excuse me, but we'll see. What info is there about the Black Company? Barely any. Barely any. And that's really it. Other than that, Nikita has specifically gone out of his way to refer to them as if they were cultists. So that makes me think that they're going to just keep them secret, and then there'll be a surprise someday. That's my speculation with it. Probably the next Scab boss, use Riot Shield and Deagle. Ooh, what if he did have a Deagle? That would be cool. Now, I wouldn't say probably. I definitely would not say probably. But that would be interesting. And I don't know about next either, because I think the next Scab boss is going to be on Lighthouse. But, yes. Now, do you mean next Scab boss, like, on Streets? Because maybe. Maybe. Now, guys, when you're asking questions, I see a couple people using the @NiceGuy. It's @NiceGuy space Tarkov, so it pops up in bright orange for me. Here, I'll show you. So make sure you're using what Gibbet just did here, what Joseph just did here, what Morn did here, what Getty did here. It's @NiceGuy space Tarkov, and I'll put it in there myself. Like that, guys. Because it'll pop up in this bright orange for me, so it makes it much easier for me to see your question. Much, much easier. Arena mode, do you have any information on that? I have plenty of information. Go look up arena mode on my channel. I have very specific videos talking about that. Tan Phillips, go check that out. Nikita doesn't want meta weapons. Weapons per caliber could handle pretty much the same attachments, become vanity only, and bullet choice effects, recoil handling things on. Joseph, you went all over the show on that one. I don't know. I mean, you're right. Nikita doesn't like metas. He doesn't want metas, but it's not going to stop metas. What is going to be his weapon against metas are the dynamic events. So there's going to be dynamic economy and dynamic loot events where someone's shipment got ambushed, and there's going to be a shortage of 5.56 ammo or 7.62 ammo or parts or magazines or something like that. That's going to be his weapon, his main weapon against metas. Because if he sees too many people using the same kind of setup, then he'll just make that setup very difficult to access. So that's kind of like his thing. I hope that answers your question. I don't actually know where you were going with that. Anything about the free labs weekend? No, nothing new yet other than that he's thinking about it and he likes the idea. When will revolvers come? I have no idea. Apparently they're having some kind of problem with it animation-wise. But I hope they come soon because they've been work in progress for a very long time. Same thing with the double barrel shotgun there. I don't know what's going on with those. They're having some kind of problem with them is all I know, really. What do you think would be the match time for Streets Tarkov? I know it's going to be hours. It's going to be at least hours. He has said that in the past, but don't quote him on that because what might end up happening, like he mentioned earlier, is they might end up segmenting Streets. They might end up putting only part of Streets in, and then they might expand it later. So that's fully going to depend on how much of Streets they put in to the game. But if it is the entire Streets location, we're talking about the entire location, I would imagine hours. For sure. What about a female sniper boss scav? Lighthouse could be ideal. Yeah, actually, that could work. Because I know they're having issues with... or they don't want to commit to adding female PMCs because of all the animations involved and all the artwork involved. And they're already behind as it is. Which, we're not going to get into that today, guys. If you want to go yell at them about that, you can go yell at them about that. I'm sure they're used to it by now, but we're not yelling at me about that. I am going to shut that down because it's not, I can't control that. However, having a single person, like a scav boss, be a female sniper, that is a good point. That is a very good idea. That could totally happen because they need to do all those unique animations anyway. They need to do all the unique artwork and the unique animations anyway. Now, there might be something to be said where you're going to need to kill that thing a lot. So there might be some people, if they feel like having a gotcha moment like they usually do with the minority stuff and with the no female stuff, if they like having a gotcha moment, then, oh, why is the only female character one that you can kill repeatedly and stuff like that? So that might from a marketing sense, I could see there's some problems on the horizon with that. But we'll see. That if there was going to ever be a way for them to easily implement females into the game, I feel like that would be it. But then again, like I said, if someone wanted to make a fuss about it, that's probably where they would start. What do you think about what Jesse Kazam said about releasing streets in sections as a means to release the map? That's not a Jesse thing, man. That's a Nikita thing. Nikita said that. He's probably just reiterating repeating what Nikita said. So Nikita, from the last podcast with Pestily, said that this year we will see at least part of streets. That was directly from Nikita himself. And that's what we mentioned earlier. That's what we mentioned earlier when we were looking at these parts and how everything's split up from T's to T's. So that's what Jesse was talking about. If you could get one item, and I think it makes sense because it allows them to get the map out quicker. So I hope they do something like that because I'd really love to get my hands on that map as soon as possible. If you could get one item in game that is planned but has no date yet, what would it be? The custom armor hitboxes for sure. Custom armor hitboxes for sure. Because I think it's going to change so much about the game, and I think it's going to take a lot of getting used to, and I think it's going to just completely redefine the game as we know it. So I'd like to get it in sooner than later for the custom armor hitboxes. You really think we'll see streets this year? Yes, because they're going to segment it. I think they're definitely going to be able to segment it. The Lighthouse for 12-12, I highly doubt. We'll see what happens with that. I highly, highly doubt that we'll see Lighthouse for 12-12. It's probably going to be a couple months from now, which would end up being, unless they make 12-12 in like August or September, I highly doubt we're going to see Lighthouse with 12-12, given the point of development that it's in. All right, since we're already at 10 o'clock here, guys, I only do this for about an hour. All you guys asking wipe, I don't know where you're coming from, but you just use the commands, check out my other videos. Otherwise, you'll get the normal, Thursday. Doesn't highlight from phone. I don't know what that means. If you could get one item, I already got that. Do you think clothing will play an important role soon? Yes, because you'll need to be able to PID your target. You're gonna need to positively identify who your target is, and that clothing is unique to the PMCs, so it is very important. Yes. What is streets is built in Unity 2019, and they have to convert all of the other maps. What would you think of a mini wipe with just streets? There's not going to be a mini wipe with streets. They want a full wipe with streets. So, Breck, check out my. I did a podcast a few days ago. I think it was now several days ago that I titled "My Speculative Timeline for 2021." Check that out, and you'll see exactly what I mean with that. So go check that one out if you want to see that. Nikita don't like meta, and he definitely doesn't like meta. No, he does not. Hard to get best gear and gun. Not necessarily. It's just going to have different kinds of access points for it. That might make it difficult to some people. What is the one thing you would do to stop early wipe being over in less than 2 weeks? I would finish the game and then actually launch it, because this is a testing environment, and I know that it's very quick, but he still wants access to everything. So if someone is an absolute Chad and everyone knows exactly what to do, because they've been playing the same thing for years and they know exactly what quests to do, exactly at what time, and what things to pick up exactly when, and how much XP per raid they need to get in order to get to level 40 as soon as possible, then it's going to happen, because we're in a testing environment. They need to have that certain limit, like certain level of access, so that we can test things properly. So that's probably going to continue happening until they end up launching the game. So if you want my idea of like how to get rid of that, finish the game and launch it. When new vid? New vid's going to be today. We're going to be talking about the new Discord. But other than that, we don't have anything new for Escape from Tarkov. So if there was something new to talk about for Escape from Tarkov, sure, I would post the video. But as of right now, at least, we do not have any news. Nope, we don't have any news from BSG as of yet. But of course, if anything pops up, you will know on the channel. And that's why you guys should subscribe to the channel for the latest Escape from Tarkov news. Guys, that's going to do it for today. We've done the full hour. This is usually what I keep it to. I go from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern United States time with my Good Morning Tarkov shows. In the future, there's going to be some other things that I can do with live streams and some afternoon shows to help out with our American friends, or just anyone that wasn't able to catch the show, which, by the way, if you weren't able to catch the show, soon after this ends, there will be a VOD up, and then almost immediately I will put up some timestamps in the description and the top comment so that you can see exactly what we talked about for the day. And then also I need some time so that I can download it and then upload it to Spotify. So later today, probably about an hour-ish from now, it'll be up on Spotify if you want to listen to it as well. Unfortunately, today, this was a very visual live stream, so I would suggest that you at least come by the VOD and like click through a little bit if you are listening on Spotify, so you can at least see what we're talking about when it comes to like the vehicle that we talked about and the riot shield and some of the rooms and how everything was set up. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you very much for hanging out. I love you, and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.